up? Hey, everybody. It's Plant-Based with Nicole. I'm your host, Nicole Richey. Thank you so much for joining today. Today, I will be interviewing a doctor, okay? Dr. Benjamin Benulis is the author of the book Creative Health. Let's start over. He is the author of the book Create Health, Reverse Autoimmune Disease Without Drugs or Their Side Effects. People with autoimmune disease work with Dr. Ben to conquer their condition once and for all. Because most people are sick of dealing with chronic pain, fatigue, and medications that just give them side effects. He helps them learn the tools to get out of the pain and get their vitality back and feel like a normal person again. Thank you guys for joining. Hey, everybody. So good to see you all. I see some people in the chat, in the room. Share this live. You know, we want to reach people. We want to spread the message of health, you know. So I'm excited to bring him on, and I see he is requesting, so I'm bringing him on now. Thank you guys for joining. Okay, did it work? Hey! How are you?
Pretty good.
Can you hear me okay?
Hear you great.
Good. And I hear like a choppy thing going like in and out. Let me hear you say something.
Okay. I don't hear any chopping on my end.
Okay. It sounds better now. How are you? I know like you're only, beginning to know me recently, but I've been watching you on YouTube for years.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
At least back since you were living in the Bay Area. I know for sure it's been since back then, because that's when I first was like, oh, he lives in the Bay. Yeah. How long ago was that?
I left about 5 years ago.
Okay, yeah. So I've been watching your videos for a long time then, because you were living maybe Berkeley?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's right around the corner. Well, it's about 30 minutes away, but still, how are you? So good to see you.
Good to be here. Yeah, glad I know you reached out like maybe years ago, and now we're finally doing this. So
I know we were supposed to do this like 3 years ago when I was doing my season 1 before I had a name for my podcast, and then I had to cancel. So I'm happy to bring you back. Thank you for the chance again. I was like, I hope he doesn't say no and think I'm a flake because of last time.
Oh, things happen. It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. So, yeah, you're a chiropractor. That's pretty dope. I knew you were a doctor for all these years, but I didn't know what type of doctor until you told me yesterday. So how long have you been doing that? That's pretty amazing.
I've been in practice 6 years now.
Wow. And what were you doing before that?
I worked as an engineer for different microchip companies.
Wow, that's a complete transformation in regards to a career. I like that. Okay. So I'm really excited to talk to you about your healing, because I know that there's going to be someone that watches now or later that can relate, that can get some help and be inspired by your story. First, let's backtrack before we start talking about the healing. Let's talk about how long have you been vegan, and what's your reason for going vegan? The autoimmune disease?
Yeah, so I started having health problems in 2010, and so chronic fatigue, chronic pain, skin issues, really bad digestive issues, I went the whole medical route and kind of fumbled around and getting answers there. After a while, I started like, okay, well, I'm going to research this on my own and figure it out on my own, because I'm, until I find a doctor who can help me, like I got to, be my own advocate here. And
right.
And that's when I started reading up on like, well, if you just ate better, a lot of these problems would go away. And I thought, that's cool, but I'm not doing that. Things just kept getting worse and worse, and everything I was trying wasn't working. So eventually I just kind of got painted into a corner. I said, okay, I'm going to give this like eating more fruits and vegetables thing a shot. And it didn't go vegan in the beginning. It was literally like, well, I'm just going to make smoothies because I know fruits and vegetables won't bother my stomach. And that's
okay.
It began, and then you know, just as an evolutionary process, and as like I felt better and better doing this, I wanted to research and learn more and more about it, and kind of stumbled into, you know, like search like, oh, let me look up smoothie recipes on the internet to get ideas, right? And then you come across people that are like, you know, plant-based and vegan sharing those, and you're like, okay, well, that's cool, that's what they do, but like I just want the smoothie recipe, you know. But as time went on, it just like I was going more and more that way, just kind of on my own. So yeah, originally, yeah, entirely for health reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. So you said since 2010, about 12
Yeah,
years, almost 13.
I adopted the vegan label in 2011. I mean, that's a controversial one. I mean, I still like follow a vegan lifestyle. I don't know if I like the word necessarily anymore, but I eat the diet and don't harm, you know, sentient beings. So, or at least the
Yeah.
ability. So, yeah.
Yeah, we started around the same time. I can't remember the year. I just know that I just had my 12th plant-based anniversary in October. So
Oh, okay.
it's been a little over 12 years for me. Okay, so talk to me about how adopting this way of eating has changed your life. Like, kind of include your benefits, and then let's talk about the healing.
Sure. I mean, that was the main thing, was that my body really, you know, remarkably transformed. Like, honestly, I was just hoping that I could eat things that wouldn't bother my stomach, but as I got deeper into it, all these other symptoms that I was dealing with that I kind of thought were unrelated resolved, as far as like, you know, really bad muscle pain, really bad chronic fatigue, really bad brain fog, really bad skin issues. And that all began to clear up. And not only did the problems go away, but I started to feel better than baseline. Like I started to feel like I just wanted to, you know, get back to where I was, but it just kept going. I felt better and better. I went from chronic fatigue to not to just normal, but to like tons of energy. And
Yeah.
so it was a remarkable transformation that I wasn't expecting to do right at the beginning. Like I was just like, I just don't want my stomach to hurt, but I saw all these side effects, which, you know, is funny in the health world. The side effects are always good things, whereas with medications, the side effects are always bad things. Funny how that works.
Right. Yeah.
And so I just felt better and better, and just dialed it in more and more because I got more and more excited about it. So that's really how it benefited me. And then it really gave me this perspective of like, okay, wow, I'm sure you saw health benefits too. And you're like, okay, well now I want to like spread this word and tell people about it and
Mm-hmm.
help people with it and all of that. So that's like it you know, precipitated me changing careers because I was really dissatisfied and unfulfilled in what I was doing. And I thought, okay, you know, I saw all these doctors and, you know, none of them could help me. And so, you know, knowing what I know, I could, you know, help a lot of people, and that's without even having a, you know, formal education. So I thought, okay, you know, I saw the potential to help a lot of people with it. And so I pursued that, and that's really been just a blessing in my life to be able to,
Yeah. It's very rewarding. You know, it's a very rewarding type of career to have when you're helping others, especially in the health, helping them get healthier, you know. So I didn't even really get into, so I was reading up on autoimmune because I hear it a lot, but I never really knew what it is. And I was seeing that it could be different types of diseases like Crohn's, I forgot what all I read, but
Sure.
talk to me about what your specific disease was, because there's different types of diseases, right? Like,
Sure.
what was your specific ailment, and then what were the symptoms? I know you mentioned your stomach was, you know,
Sure.
bothering you.
So there's about 200 documented autoimmune diseases.
Oh,
Really,
wow. Yeah. Crohn's.
Yeah.
Crohn's. That's another one.
One of-
Did I say that already? Crohn's.
So what happens?
Lupus.
Yeah. So what happens is the immune system attacks a certain part of the body. It gets confused with some kind of pathogen and attacks it. So it attacks the small intestine, that's Crohn's disease, right? It attacks the large intestine, that's ulcerative colitis. It attacks the joints in your hands, it's rheumatoid arthritis. It attacks your thyroid, it's Hashimoto's. And so it's the same mechanism, but it's attacking different organ systems and thereby producing different symptoms. But in general, there are some there are some like symptoms in common no matter what it is, right? And so for me, I never really got formally diagnosed. As best I can tell from what I know, I had something called myalgic encephalopathy. You know, say that 10 times fast. Really,
Okay, what the heck is that?
it's just a word they come up with to explain something, right? And it sounds fancy because it means like, you know, muscle pain and brain inflammation is basically what it means. But it's, you know, like these things aren't largely understood by medicine. So they just really go, oh, okay, the immune system's attacking this part of the body or this part of the body, so let's suppress the immune system. But the problem with that approach is like you kind of need that immune system, especially there was this thing going around past few years. It's kind of important, you know, to have an immune system. So that strategy doesn't really work. And so what we find is that when we stop, you know, poisoning the body with processed foods and animal foods and you know, pesticides and all of that, the body can begin to expunge whatever offending agent is causing these diseases, which we don't really know, but it doesn't really matter too much. And then the body can actually heal itself of these diseases that modern medicine says are incurable. Not, of course, you know, claiming to cure these things, but we're just saying that, like, you know, given the right conditions, given the right foods, given the right supplies, and, you know, removing the obstructions, the body just does its job of what it's always been able to do for a long, long time, which is heal itself.
So you said you were never diagnosed?
Nope. I basically got the
Did you?
like.
How did you get that name? Where did you come up with that name? Did you do your own research and Google symptoms?
On symptoms, you know. But here's the thing: is that a lot of people who struggle with these conditions never get diagnosed, or they run all their labs, and the doctor says, "Well, I can't find anything wrong with you on the paper, so you must not."
Yeah.
Or it must be all in your head.
Yeah.
Right. And so having a diagnosis like is not really that helpful because like it just tells them what pharmaceutical drug to put you on, which isn't really,
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
When it boils down to it, it's like, well, I'm not going to say for every single thing out there, but for most of the ailments out there and the diseases, no matter what it's called, it all boils down to you need to heal yourself. And it's either going to be, are you going to do it with drugs or food? You know,
for the most part,
it's like,
yeah.
For the most part, I'm not saying that for everything, everybody. So don't come for me. It's just, you know, for a lot of the ailments out there, I feel like that it's going to be either you're going to take medicine to heal it, or you're going to change your way of eating and allow your body to heal itself with the food.
Yeah.
So what were your symptoms though? Your stomach was bothering you? Like, talk to me about that.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much had, like, you know, just, we can get into the specifics because it's pretty gross, but like just a lot of, like, you know, digestive issues.
Okay.
You know, going number 2 about once a week. A lot of indigestion, a lot of discomfort, a lot of gas. You know, taking like, you know, different over-the-counter medications to try to do something about it, which really didn't do anything about it. And so for a long time, I just kind of chalked it up to being like, I'm getting older, which was like, you know, 27, which in what? So it was just basically like being in pain and discomfort pretty much all the time. And, you know, every meal be like, oh, I feel that, you know, but what was I eating? I was like, steady diet of like Mountain Dew, burritos, and like takeout Chinese food. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, like, what were you eating before your diet? So you were the typical standard American diet, the junk food, the fast foods.
I had always been, you know, thin my whole life. So I thought like, well, I'm eating all this junk food and I'm not getting fat. So it must be just that I have good genes. And so it's okay. I can get away with it. Right. And everyone's like,
as long as you're not gaining weight, it's all good. Right.
And everyone would be like, oh, you know, they see me eating that way. They're like, it's going to catch up with you when you're older. And I thought, you know, whatever, I got good genes, is fine. And the ironic thing is that it did catch up with me, but not really in the way that anybody kind of anticipated. So, you know, fate definitely has a sense of humor. But I'm glad it happened. It's like the greatest thing that ever happened to me. And now I'm able to, you know, because of this issue and overcoming it helps so many other people. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Well, thank you for sharing that. So once you started changing your diet, how long before, forgive me if you already said this, how long did it pretty much take to heal the symptoms you were having,
Like
approximately?
right away, right? Like oh, I didn't eat, a bunch of junk food. Like I ate a smoothie with like, strawberries, bananas, and kale. Like, whoa, that actually didn't hurt my digestion. Cool, right? So I noticed things right away. But I
Okay.
would say that like when I got it really dialed in and I was really like passionate about it and excited about it and consistent with it, I'd say 6 to 8 weeks of doing that, I just saw like a complete transformation of my body. Like everything improved. I mean, in that time probably got about 80% better.
That's amazing. So what were you eating at that time I I know you drink a lot of smoothies. Were you like focused on smoothies back then? Like what were you eating back then, a typical day? And then what's a typical day now?
I was doing I was pretty much doing all smoothies because I was like, well, I was very like had like the lazy man approach of like I don't want to cook,
Yeah.
right? So it was sort of like, well, he's just a microwaving everything, and I thought, okay, well, a smoothie is kind of like a blender is like a microwave, right? Like you open it up, you throw the food inside, you close the lid, you hit a button, and like 60 seconds later, here's your food. So I didn't. I was just sort of like, I want to take the lazy approach here, and I don't want to learn to cook or any of that stuff. But movies, I was just like, I'm getting all the fruits and vegetables, I'm getting the right stuff. Like, this
Hmm.
is easy. I want to like go to my job and do my thing, and like not have to like learn anything new or work hard at this. Now things have changed. I definitely, I still do smoothies pretty much every day. In fact,
Yeah.
I
You love smoothies.
situation where I couldn't do smoothies for a couple of days earlier this month, and I like really like missed it when I got back to it. Like a couple of days later, I was like, oh my god, I haven't had a smoothie in like 2 or 3 days. Like, oh, how did I go without it? It tastes so good. Oh, you're gonna get sick of that. It's like that hasn't happened to me yet. I'm sure other people can get sick of them.
12,
Uh,
13 years
yeah,
later, you still.
but I'm really doing like a high water fruit for breakfast. And so like right now I live in Arizona, it's citrus season, and I literally earlier today, like literally filled up my entire Prius with locally grown fruit from a couple people's yards that they didn't want. So I'm gonna be juicing like a lot of citrus over the next couple of weeks. And
Sounds very refreshing.
yeah, so and then like later in the like come summer, do like watermelon, mangoes, stuff like that for breakfast, high water fruit. For lunch,
Hmm.
green smoothie, it's like bananas, lettuce, and something else. Sometimes nothing else. Sometimes bananas, blueberries, romaine lettuce, something like that.
Yeah.
For dinner, do some kind of green salad. I don't like a whole lot of different. I'm more of like a leafy greens guy. I'm not really like into too many other vegetables, so I just eat a lot of greens, a lot of like different varieties of lettuce and celery. Um, and then I usually do some like kind of homemade raw sauce made out of fruit or
Hmm.
vegetables, both, or like nuts and seeds. And then I include some cooked food. I do mostly like tubers and squash, so like potatoes, sweet potatoes, squash, things like that. Usually,
Hmm.
um,
What are
oh,
tubers?
tubers is like another word for like potatoes, like
Oh,
any like an underground vegetable.
okay. Now, when you first started 2010, were you, I remember like, I feel like you were like fully raw at one point. Were you?
Yeah, for about 3 years from 2013 into 2016. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that because I think that's around the time I started watching your YouTube channel. And then you started incorporating cooked foods. What made you decide to incorporate cooked foods back into your diet?
Well, I was working at True North, and they kind of the way it was set up, that was kind of unavoidable, and so I was a little bit worried that like things would come back if I did that, but they didn't, and I felt fine, and I felt pretty much the same, eating like whole food, plant based, no oil, no salt, all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
With like still primarily raw. I didn't really notice enough of a difference. I was like, okay, I guess this works. This maintains the same level of health, so. I just kept with it. And, I still go 3-4 day stretches, sometimes more, of eating raw. In fact, I'm thinking about, like, my girlfriend and I have talked about, like, April 1st doing, like, a 10-day raw thing. So, like, I did it for a long stretch of time.
Yeah.
And, like, a lot, I think. But, this is kind of what's, working for me now.
It's a nice balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually just did a raw cleanse. I did it from like January 1st till February 13th. So it was like 44 days.
Nice.
So it was my body was asking for it. So I did it. I just do what my body asked for. It was just like screaming, like fresh fruits, vegetables. You just wanted freshness without, all the cooked heavy stuff. And it's nice to do that every now and then, just to give your body a reset. So you said no salt, no fat, no oil, no salt.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I'm eating cooked foods, like if I do beans and rice or potatoes or something, it's like I don't really like it without some type of the stuff that makes it taste salty-ish.
Yeah.
So do you don't use seasonings that have sodium in it, or you're specifically saying no salt as in actual salt, or no sodium at all?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, no, I'm saying no, like, table salt. So, I mean, there are plenty of things to season things without using salt, right? There are a variety of herbs and spices. So I just tend to stick to that, right? And I find that, like, okay, a sweet potato, like, I can just bake it and, like...
Oh, yeah. You don't need nothing on a sweet potato.
Yeah.
But, like
a
grilled potato, for instance, it's not salt per se, but I might use something called Montreal steak seasoning, right? And that has sodium in it. I might also put smoked paprika, garlic powder, which they don't have sodium, but the Montreal steak seasoning does. So are you okay with using stuff like that, or just no salt?
Yeah, I mean,
like up salt,
that's
where it says salt.
That like, oh, the Montreal steak seasoning, Nicole, it's gonna kill you. You're gonna have a heart attack. So it's like, I tend to avoid, like, I will use, like lemon pepper, or like, the Bragg's organic sprinkle, which is just 24 herbs and spices, no salt. Like, I don't, like, look, like, we're going to have an argument over this stuff. Like, I don't think it's, like, worth debating. Like, I don't think, like, I will say this. I do have clients, okay? I have one who has very severe rheumatoid arthritis, which he keeps in check with his diet. But if she has salt, like, literally just fruits and vegetables, and add salt, like, put salt on her salad, her symptoms come back. So I think that, like, to some degree, it depends on the person. I just don't feel, I find that, like, if I have salt, that, like, I need to go to the bathroom, I need to pee more, I need to drink more water, and it, like, just kind of makes things uncomfortable, and so I'd rather just avoid it. But I don't think it's like, like, if you're eating whole food plant-based, like, is some salt gonna kill you? Like, 99% of cases, no. But, like, yeah, I do have, I have a person I worked with who literally salt will cause inflammation in their system. So I think, I just don't feel like this is something worth, like, belaboring or having an argument over.
Are you okay with, like, condiments and stuff? Things that have sodium in them, like ketchup, barbecue sauce, things like that?
Trying to avoid anything that's, like, that's got that in it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I need to get on your level. Okay. I need to train my taste buds, because, like, when I eat potatoes, not sweet potatoes, I could do those plain, but potatoes or beans and rice, or even like a salad I just made, I need, like, a salty taste in it. So, like, I might have all the most of the ingredients in my dressing I make doesn't have any salt, but that Montreal steak seasoning, it does, and it's like I need that salty taste. I got to figure out something else that kind of has a salty taste but doesn't have sodium, because I would like to reduce my sodium.
Sure. Can I suggest a resource for you?
Please.
Santa Rosa. Her name is Kathy Fisher. And she has a book and a blog called Straight Up Food. And it's whole food, plant-based, no salt, no oil, no added sugar. and she comes up with all of these like kind of like spice combinations and ways of like seasoning things that still give a lot of flavor with herbs and spices, but doesn't use salt. And like,
Oh,
it's really
I'm,
good. I mean, like,
what's the name of the book? Again, say that again.
food,
You blocked out. Say that.
straight up food.
Oh, Straight Up Food by, what's the author?
Kathy Fisher.
Oh, okay. Is this like something on Amazon or?
Yeah, on Amazon, on her website. Yeah, all that.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna look that up because, I would like to. I find that if I'm eating like all fruit, like sometimes I do fruit resets and stuff, I don't need any of that sodium or any seasonings or condiments. But if I'm eating like a salad or cooked foods and things, I need that. And I want it for the taste, right? But I'm going to look that up. Thank you for the recommendation. Okay. Talk to me. Well, let's talk about your coaching because you're a chiropractor, but you also coach people and help them heal their autoimmune diseases. So like, what is your strategy for helping them heal? Are you just giving them like a food plan? Are you working with them on exercising? Like, what's your strategy for coaching?
Sure, that's a good question. And I'll show you what I do. I think that a lot of people kind of get it wrong. Like they just sort of give them a meal plan and say like, okay, go do it.
Bye.
They like berate them when they screw up, right? Or they go off. And so my philosophy around, coaching and like getting people, it's because it's like, okay, the information's good. We've got the information out there of this book, really good information on there. Like, someone with an autoimmune disease could read this book, pick it up, and implement what's in here and see fabulous results. But the reason, so it's like, why even coach, right? Let's just write the book and people just do what's in the book. But I really found that there's really three things people need to really succeed at like transforming their health and maintaining those habits long term. Right. And so the number one thing is like the right strategy. Like they need to do the right things. And we're talking about this today about fruits and vegetables, smoothies, avoiding oil and what to avoid, what to eat, right? Like what is in the book, right? But that's one part of the equation. There's two other things that are really important. Number two is mindset, right? Like you got to believe that you can actually do it and succeed at it because you can have the information, but if you're like, well, Dr. Ben can do it because he's special, right? Like I can't do that. Oh, I have people tell me all the time, I could never do what you do, Dr. Ben. It's like, I was just some dude in a cubicle 13 years ago, okay? Like, I'm not special. In their mind, they think, oh, it's hard. I can't give this up. I can't give that up. I don't want to stop the Chick-fil-A. I don't want to stop the, whatever it is. And so, like, mindset's important. And then number three is accountability. Like, you need someone to hold your feet to the fire. It's like, you can know what to do. You can believe it's going to work. Like you see all these people on the internet, like healing this, healing that with plants, healing the very condition you have. And you're like, okay, I know it's going to work and I know what to do, but like you still need someone to hold you accountable at the end of the day. So I really provide like, the strategy's out there, right? But I give them the strategy. But we really go deep into mindset and like their internal beliefs and like, what they believe about themselves, what they believe about health, what they believe about their own capabilities. And then we, to provide a fun and like accountability environment where we're checking in with them one-on-one every week, but we're also have like a group environment where everybody's sharing stories. So this helps like transform the mindset and hold people accountable and excited, and basically involve them in a community where other people are excited about it too and getting results. And you curate that community, and a rising tide lifts all ships. So that's really my strategy. That's really like how I go about coaching people. And so,
oh, that's amazing.
I have an assistant coach, and I have, just like a really good group of people who are all excited about healing, and the environment kind of takes care of itself, and everybody helps each other. And hope that answers the question.
It does. Definitely. And that's good that the accountability is everything. You can't just, here's some information. Bye.
Yeah.
Good luck.
So a lot,
so
I'm hosting a group call, like I host a group call every Wednesday night. I'm not talking about like how to make a dressing for your salad, because like that information is there. Like they don't need to hear from me about like why, butter is bad or whatever. It's like what they need is like to conquer what's in between their ears. Like that's, so I'm talking about like mindset. I'm talking about like self-talk. I'm talking about meditation. These kinds of things to really like do that inner work to heal. And then, the rest of it can take care of itself. Cause like, it's not rocket surgery. It's eat fruits and vegetables. Like it's not, we want to make it complicated, but like, it's not. And so, so it's like, there's other things going on. It's not the lack of information most of the time. It's just the difficulty implementing the information consistently. And a lot of that boils down to like mindset. And so I work on that a lot with people. And I find that moves the needle way farther than just telling them what to do and why they're wrong over and over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. How in the heck do you balance being a chiropractor and a coach? That's like 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah, right. It's funny because I found a new patient in the office for chiropractic care. This guy had like 30 years of back pain. And he's like, I'm looking at your schedule here, and you only have office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays and half a day on Fridays. He's like, what are you doing those other days? And I'm like, oh, I run a whole other health coaching business on those days. Makes sense.
Okay. I love it.
So basically, I like literally split my time 50-50 between both because I really love doing both.
That's amazing. Wow, that's so inspiring. I love it. Do you get your blood work done every now and then, like once a year or so?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's so easy because I like can order it myself, right? And I actually know.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, we'll actually come to wherever you live, and like a tech will like draw it like there in like 10 minutes and like take it off to the lab, and then I get a PDF like 2 days later. Like here's everything. So I get it drawn every year just to make sure that I'm on track. And then if anything's out of the ordinary or out of range or looks bad, I don't try to fix it myself. Like I have a buddy who's a plant-based naturopath. We actually worked at True North together, and I have him look at it just to get like, because you don't want to like try to treat yourself. Like, you got to get like an objective perspective, because a lot of times when it's your own health, you can convince yourself that something's worse than it is or not as bad as it is. So if anything's out of range, I have someone else look at it. But that's only happened once in the past 5 years. So
yeah, that's good. Well, thank you so much. Everybody, make sure you check out. Is it Benulis? Am I saying that right? Dr. Benulis.
Right. So don't worry about it. But it is pronounced Benulis. Like doctor. Don't try to.
Benulis.
Yeah, it's fun. I was on a podcast with a buddy of mine like 10 years ago, and he gets us on. He's like, my guest today is Dr. Benulis. I'm like, I know 2013. Still getting my name wrong, so don't worry about it.
I'm so sorry. I just knew I had it right. Nah. So yeah, Dr. Benulis.
Yes.
Everybody, make sure you go check out his book titled Create Health, Reverse Autoimmune Disease Without Drugs or Their Side Effects. Yes, there it is right there. I'm pretty sure everything is in your bio, right? So they can go to your bio to find your book and all your websites and everything.
Yeah, and if you're watching a replay of this on YouTube or whatever, it's createhealthbook.com, and then you can look me up by my name on all the major social platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, until they ban me. So
don't say that. Yes, you guys check him out. I've been watching him on YouTube. It's funny because I just started following you recently on Instagram, but I've been watching your YouTube channels for years, at least since you were living in the Bay, so at least 5 years. So yeah, you guys check him out. If you need to heal something and you don't know where to go, you don't want to go to a regular doctor that's just going to throw drugs down your throat, hit up Dr. Ben in his inbox. Tell him I referred you so I can get a discount on my back when I need to get it cracked. No. Yeah, just hit him up and he should be able to help you. because that's what he does. This is part of his 50% of his life. He's dedicated to helping people reverse their diseases. So thank you so much, Ben, Dr. Ben. I really, really appreciate you, and thank you for giving me a second chance after canceling the first time. Thank you so much for coming on my podcast today.
You're welcome.
I'm just gonna announce the next guest, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying you're welcome. It's a lot of fun. Have me back anytime. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you have a wonderful, blessed day. God bless you. Keep changing lives and sharing and just being a blessing to everyone.
All right, you keep doing what you're doing too, getting that message out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You guys, up next, I will be interviewing I Am She Unleashed. She healed her psoriasis. Am I saying that right? Psoriasis? I cannot say that word. She's been dealing with it for over 2 years. So she is on a healing journey. She's healed her body with food, eating a raw diet. So we're going to talk to her about her healing journey. So make sure you guys tune in next week on Sunday, the 2nd, April 2nd at 4 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. EST. And thank you so much for joining today. Those of you who are still here and who will watch later, God bless you all, and I'll see you next time. You. Make sure you follow Dr. Ben, follow me, and also check out my YouTube channel.